This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day, carefully crafted for you by humans. So meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is a Fully Managed Podcast for those who don't know, and Marie is joining me today. Thank you so much, Marie, for joining us.
Hello.
So we're going to start today with a little game to get our creative juices flowing, get out of our little, our work brains. So this segment is called Guilty Pleasure Confessions. So how it's going to work is you're going to tell me something that is a guilty pleasure of yours right now, and it convince me for it to want to be my guilty pleasure within like a minute or so. Does that sound good?
Okay.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
I really like trashy reality TV, mostly The Housewives. You're already a fan. You know.
Well, why do you like it?
They are crazy. Like, it's just, I don't know. It always helps me feel a little better whenever my life it starts feeling a little crappy. I'm like, man.
That's true. Like you're not going to jail or anything like that.
For me, thank you.
I can definitely understand that. I do like some good trash reality TV. Sometimes I have to pause because it just makes me feel bad. Sometimes though.
I like watching it while I'm working because like it's so much fun to just sit here and be like, she said what? And just look over and it makes my whole workday just fly by.
I love that. I wish I was able to multitask. I think that would be so nice sometimes, but I cannot hear something and do something. I either hear something or I do something, or I'm typing an email and I'm typing exactly what I'm hearing instead of what I'm thinking, and it's not a good thing to think for me, but I think it would be so nice to help the workday go by if I was capable. Well, thank you for answering that, and unfortunately, you didn't have to convince me because I'm already there. But thank you for sharing. And so we'll get right into introductions. Hello, everyone. For those who don't know, I know I mentioned before that this is the Fully Managed Podcast. This is a podcast where we discuss marketing and business tips to help assist you on your business journey. I'm your host, Shannon, Penji's Partnership Coordinator, and I'm joined here today with a very special guest, Marie Lynn from Vandalia Digital. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Could you start by telling us a little bit about yourself? Anything that maybe you want the audience to know, anything to this point that you think would be important to share in what you're doing? No.
So now, gosh, I can't even tell you a number, the amount of websites I think that we, as a team, like produce and send out the door. There's always, I think my list currently has 10 items on it. So 5 of them are actual websites, and then 5 of them are websites where I'm supposed to be updating different things. And then it's always crazy master like web of what do I do now and who needs this when. So
That's awesome. So what did you how did you get to this point where you were working at Vandalia? Like what did it kind of look like? What were you doing before this? How did you get into what you do now, and like what excites you?
okay, well, I graduated college with my BFA in painting and drawing, and that was in 2008. And that was obviously the recession. Things were not awesome. I was working at McDonald's and was kind of making my way through the ranks there just to like make more money, all those things. And eventually I hit a point where it's like, I can't live this way. So I elected to go back to school. Um, I got my design degree, and once I was like in my like the end of my last semester, they approached me. They asked if I would come back as a teacher or instructor for their HTML course. And mind you, at this point in time, hated web with a burning passion. But I hated it so much. Like every time I had to do a web project, it was through kicking and screaming. But despite that, like somehow I just kind of understood HTML, CSS, that kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay, second job, more money. I started teaching Web 1 course at Wright State. And then I think it was the course of like 5 years. I'm teaching Web 1 and Web 2. And like during that time, everything was kind of weird because I actually got fired from my first design job. And they did me the biggest favor. Won't give names or anything, but like we were not a good fit. Um, and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. So I was still teaching and a couple like other odd job things. I did one small internship, and I was going to apply for jobs, and literally the only two web design jobs listed at that time were one was for one in my the town where I was living, and then one that was like an hour and 20 minutes away. And um I applied to them both, and I was like, okay. I got a call from the farther location, and I ended up starting this monstrous commute. And what that did was just ensure that I began what I felt was like my first real design job or web design job, as opposed to just sort of doing it for the other company at times. Um, yeah, it was an interesting ride because that company was enormous. And like I feel like sometimes when you get a company like that big, it's so not fun to work at them. Like the levels of like bureaucracy you have to go through to like anything.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I deserve a raise. Okay, well, it's got to pass like 10 levels of approval before they'll let you have that money. Anyway, that company ended up being sold, and I was once again looking for a job, and at this point I just felt like I had massive imposter syndrome, and I genuinely did not think that I was like gonna, I don't know, I guess go where I went. Um, the only reason I accidentally applied for this company specifically, um, was because I thought they were a local company. As I now work remote, like full time, all the time, and, and I thought they were local too. It turns out they are, in fact, in West Virginia. I I love it. I think it's phenomenal, but this place has allowed me to, I don't know, it's kind of like sink or swim. There's not a team to fall back on. I was hired as the web designer. There was me. There was, granted, the guys I was working with at the time, they're all like super amazing with all these techie things. So like it was going to be okay, but it was just very nice to have freedom, I guess, to kind of do my thing and learn all the things about WordPress. And now, gosh, I'm like almost 2.5 years in. I love working there.
Yay. Do you think that you started to enjoy web design more simply because of the freedom? Maybe you didn't hate web design, but you hated the box that you were put in for web design? Or do you still hate web design, but you're just really good at it?
No, I love what I do. I should say that. I love what I do. It's so weird to me, like, to even have thought back to like the beginning of the my career, I guess. Um, I really like it. I really hated the rules because, like, I guess when I was first learning it, everything was a lot. Everything was different, and even as I was going through my 5 years of teaching, the way that they were doing HTML stuff, like, and that all of that changed, and it was a big curve, and a lot of things got a lot better in a really short amount of time. So it also allowed me to kind of earn or gain an appreciation for what, what it was.
That makes complete sense, and I completely understand what you mentioned about the corporate kind of environment. I didn't ever picture myself being a part of a business that has that kind of structure. I don't think you should have to go through hoops to get what you want or be able to talk to someone about a problem.
Right.
I think that's so unnecessary and not efficient at all. Um,
Right.
and especially from a creative standpoint, that must be
Mm.
so frustrating to have to like get approval for things and all these different like hoops you have to jump through just to, make sure that something's the way someone wants it to be.
We used to have to sit through these meetings once a week. I wish this was a joke. We used to have to sit through these meetings once a week, and because we were working on like a web platform product. And I kid you, we sat at this table as designers, and the woman in charge of like the product, like development, and the team that make the thing, she was telling us um, all the ways our websites were wrong and bad and incorrect. You just send these crazy notes, and I'm like, "Who are you?"
Oh my goodness. And you've
Yeah,
like never met her before?
not in person, because she lived in Minnesota, I think, typically.
Hmm.
So yeah, like complete bonkers.
That is insane. Yeah, I do. I think I really appreciate. I know that not all agencies are like this. I know there's a lot of agencies that do model themselves off of corporate structures, especially the larger ones. But something I do really enjoy about like an agency work is kind of like being able to talk to someone about something at all times that is going to be able to help you and not and actually listen to you rather than just having to go through many people just to get an answer.
Exactly. I love
It's
it.
it's probably such a breath of fresh air to be able to do that.
I was saying with the whole imposter syndrome thing, because I was like, I feel like I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb if I go to this place and there's like so few people. Like, I can't screw up. They're all gonna know it's me and that, that whole like mess. But I always thought I would thrive better in a larger company, bigger environment. But I think it's the direct opposite. I think I'm
No,
just,
I completely get that.
yeah. Even when we're stressed out, we're not like, I don't know. It's always pretty zen.
No, I completely get that. I think it's almost nice to know that other people are going through kind of the same stress as you when you're like closer knit.
Mhm.
Only because it's kind of you're all like going at the same war together. Like it's like the camaraderie of it. It's very nice. But so transitioning a little bit. So I know that you're an expert with WordPress specifically.
Mhm. I Google a lot of things. Go on.
Yeah, yeah, we all Google a lot of things. I don't think anyone's an expert in anything. We're all pretending a little. Um,
My brother said the same thing. He works in IT. He goes, "I was better at Google than you." And I was like, man.
I completely understand. I'm horrible with technology, so I'm constantly at war with myself about everything that I have to do. And so it's just figuring out the steps of everything. But talking about WordPress, how I know that there's a bunch of like pre-built themes and templates and all that different things for websites specifically. How do you find like that right balance between like being efficient with those templates but also making like a very truly custom website?
Actually, I don't usually use templates specifically, um, for a few reasons. Like, I use pieces of templates. I'll use like, oh, I like Hero, and then I'll integrate it into my design. But I definitely like to just start blank slate in that way. I know like everything I'm putting in, everything I'm adding, everything is always, like styled the same, and everything is correct as I'm moving through, like doing the website. I don't have to worry about anything changing. I don't have to worry about changing somebody else's styles, fonts, buttons, whatever. I can just kind of like set it and forget it. Kind of.
Do you when you're creating a website, do you have a process in which you talk to the client, or do you kind of get an idea at first and then just go through the motions and have like an end result for them?
We have a form on our website where new clients fill out what they're looking for. Gives us some information, like their name, current URL, like logo, and information that would be helpful to them to start. And then we schedule a meeting. We have a consultation, and they tell me what they want. They either show me, like an example of something that's they really like, or we talk about the current website, and yeah, I just kind of take my first shot and see what they think of the homepage or whatever, and then kind of go from there.
How do you avoid a situation where someone maybe doesn't like the first result or something, and making sure that you're not like overworking yourself to make them happy?
Hmm. I don't think it's ever happened. We've only ever had like a handful of clients that were, I don't know, happy to see in the rearview mirror, but I guess it's like, well, I'm at your service. What can I make? What do you want? And it helps to like have them tell me like if they have any of these like big grandiose ideas, or like something that's a little out of the ordinary. Like it's helpful that we talk about it right at the beginning,
Mhm.
because I spend time doing all the basics or whatever anyway. Then it gives me some problem solving time, and I can figure out like how to do what they're asking for. And yeah.
Is there I know that you work in the Appalachian businesses specifically, which I thought was kind of cool, like very
Right.
niche. Appalachia, sorry. That's I'm from New Jersey and that's how we say it
Yeah,
here.
or run, it's no sweat. I completely wrong.
So I are there any like unique characteristics of the region that influence your approach to web design?
Oh, for sure. Um, Like it's crazy to me, like how many similarities we have, like I have with them, um, based on proximity, because I'm in Ohio, so it's not like I'm far. Uh, that we have a lot of similarities and a lot of different ways that like I understand and I respect. And then learning more and more about their culture as I've been there for like what did I say, 2.5 years now. Learning more about the culture and all the history and like all the crazy like cool stuff, and especially with the more websites I do and the more I branch out, like even in the state, um, it's doing stuff for different parks and other recreating kind of places, and you learn a whole lot about a lot of cool things. And I've just been taking So
Was
yeah,
it
I love it. I love them there.
was it difficult in the beginning to kind of like sublimate to the culture of like different businesses?
No, no.
Oh, all right.
My job just before the big company,
Mhm.
um, that was like, I don't know, trial by fire. You basically had to make websites for every industry, like every industry. So coming into this company, I had a baseline of knowledge from like, well, doctors don't usually like when you do this, or you know what I mean, like, so yeah, didn't see that.
So you more cater to like this specific type of person or business rather than necessarily like the cultures per se.
But it's both. It's a mixture of both, to be
Mhm.
honest. I have a couple of clients right now where they've specifically requested um, modern Appalachia. So it's like, how do you mix 2025 with, old school traditional, what, you know? So that's been a very fun, interesting challenge that I did not anticipate having in my career. I really
That's
enjoy
really
it.
Are there any I know that WordPress is something that kind of continues to evolve and has like new tools and stuff like that. Is that something that you enjoy, like learning new things about it, or is it something that is kind of difficult because of like having to learn something new? Or like what are the challenges that come with stuff like that?
Knowing like everything is always changing, always updating, it never stops. So as long as you're working in this field and you're aware of that, you just kind of like stay going with the flow as it changes, so it doesn't end up impacting you like too drastically. Um, we work exclusively in a theme called Divi, or a theme builder called Divi, and it is phenomenal in how like all the crazy cool things it can do.
Mhm.
So it just honestly makes my job pretty easy. Like, so integrating and adding and changing and all of the things that continue to change, like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think that that makes complete sense. I think that it's the same thing as like SEO is constantly changing and you constantly have to adjust for that. Speaking of, do you incorporate SEO strategies in your web design or do you like work with a team member that does that or is that not something that like you focus on?
No, I'll do all of it as far as I can. But then life's Google tools to also help the process, I guess, so to speak. So like I do, but it's I guess a smallish part to the big story.
Okay. Do you like do is there a process that you have for integrating it or do you kind of like discuss with the business itself about that or a team that they have?
We should say my boss, if they're doing SEO like off, every other bit of SEO, my my boss would be the guy. He kind of a
Mhm.
wizard in the marketing world. So yeah, I don't know, he's always got some kind of crazy tool. He's always got everything going.
That's nice to have someone on your team like that. I mean, that's helpful. Do you have a favorite website that you've worked on?
What a hard question. Yeah. I really like my company's. Uh, I just did our website redesign. I just
Mhm.
launched it like last month, I think. So I'm going to answer with that one because I really liked how it came out. I felt like it was I feel like my first time trying to design the modern Appalachia look. Yeah. I feel like everything kind of just came together really nice. So yeah, I'll just say our company website shamelessly.
That's awesome. Was it intimidating to be working on your website specifically because of how what it represents and everything?
It 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 was time. Our company had evolved, like even in the time I've been there here. Everything has evolved so much, I feel like, and it was just time. We were ready, and it was necessary.
So you just threw yourself in there and you're like, I'm going to make this better.
I like there was a lot of freedom too. Maybe my boss will laugh at me, but like I feel like I could kind of do whatever I wanted to, and like I was never going to send something out into the wild that nobody else has looked at. So like, you're like I could do whatever I want to do because it was our company, and like if you okay, maybe rein it in a little, I could have the other way.
Yeah, no, I think that's really nice to have that freedom too of like to explore that new style as well so that you can, learn from it but also make something really great.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have I know that there's a lot of concern about websites being like accessible and inclusive. Do you ever incorporate or contribute different elements in order to account for those things?
Always. Every website we send forth into the universe has been, I have probably spent at least a day on it somewhere toiling over getting the ADA setting set like correct. So when it gets scanned, it passes its test. And so yes, 1000%. Everything I do is designed with accessibility in mind.
That's incredible. Do you ever partner with like other companies or businesses that take part in that? Like I had someone previously on the podcast from Accessibility who kind of makes sure that things are compliant like that.
Not partner. Tried a few different company like plugins and such. I don't know. I can't remember the name of it offhand, which is terrible. But one of my, it just changed some like core functionality. It just made me like, so I don't know. We'll have to find a new one again. But yeah,
Do you, if you don't incorporate those, do you like do it from scratch then?
I don't think it's possible. It probably is if you're like a super robot, but like I'm not. I don't have time for that. So I don't think we definitely wouldn't have any compliance test with without the system. The plugins that they can change the contrast, the size, all of the things that somebody would require to be able to do as they need it. You take away the plugin, you take away the functionality of that. So yeah, the answer is no.
No, that's fair. I think that there probably are people out there that are the craziest coding experts known to man, and they're probably able to do that from scratch. But I was just curious. I don't think that that's having a plugin to assist you. I don't think is like the worst thing.
No, definitely not.
So for website design, I know there's like a big focus for a lot of people on storytelling. Is that something that when you have that introduction call, is that something that you kind of ask about and try to incorporate as best as possible into your design?
Um, I know that there is a place on our web form that people can give some of that information to. But we definitely talk about those kinds of things when we have our introduction meeting. And then again, like if I send them a draft and they're like, "You've done this all wrong," then of course they get to tell me how to fix it. But yeah,
Is it how do you incorporate someone's story into your web design? Like, can you give me an example?
um, like my company's website, just just how the message is portrayed with the branding and the style, because our company is about like the it's got a lot of outdoor kind of features. We all like to be outside, and they're in the mountains of West Virginia, so of course they like the outside. So that is a lot of our branding and just telling, like having the icon, the like topography, the different elements, everything as you're going through the website. I think that kind of comes together as the larger picture.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's kind of just thinking about, what they would like, how their business is, and then just incorporating into all of the elements of the design instead of just thinking about like maybe like a central point of what makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, we are coming up on time today, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining me. I think this was a lovely chat, and normally I have like typical marketers on the podcast, so it was really cool to learn more about like web design rather than marketing sometimes becomes redundant.
Yeah. That. Oh, thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. And thank you also everyone for listening or watching. We'd be nothing without you. So please check out other episodes to get to learn from the podcast like I get to do every time. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
You've been listening to Fully Managed, brought to you by Penji. Check out the show notes to learn more about today's guest. And to learn more about Penji, the human-first creative subscription service, head over to penji.co. And by the way, if you're still listening, it would mean the absolute world to us if you were to share this podcast with a friend and, of course, subscribe.